Atlus is no longer. They have fallen and bent the knee to DEI, or at least that's what it seems like to me when I read this post from Stealth. I said, bye bye, Atlus. We hardly knew ye. Stealth on X. Metaphor Refantasio director Katsura Hashino says Atlus JRPGs must evolve and be more accessible. Japan has fallen. More so than just latching onto a specific genre of game, we're going back to how we can evolve our JRPG and what it looks like. For us, it's coming to a turning point where we want to really take it to the next level in terms of how our JRPGs are. Do you understand what won Game of the Year last year? Clair Obscur Expedition 33 went back to the basics of what makes JRPGs so great. Why the hell would you want to go with the crowd of the modern audience and going back to making games more accessible for people? That's the last thing I ever want to do. I would argue the best RPGs I've ever played in my life are, ironically, the most challenging. Because once you get enveloped into the world and get your ass kicked at an early level, it makes you want to learn more about the game and be better and be able to overcome the challenges in the game. Just laissez-faire, play by night. Let's just get through this casual one button, just press forward and keep pressing A over and over again. That's not a good experience. I don't understand why they keep doing this stuff. With these changing times, we do feel the need to update our format and create games that would be more widely playable. When it comes to JRPGs, there's a niche audience for them. And that will forever be the case. It's the same thing as saying like Madden NFL football needs to change with the times and update their format so that it is more accessible to more people. No, that's what it is. It's football. It's literally, that's the game. Don't try to change it and make it for more people. Please stop doing this. Not just within the JRPG realm, but something that would be easier, more accessible for a wider audience. We're hoping to update our format with that in mind. Start by bringing Metaphor to Switch 2. So Stealth, by the way, is kind of like he always looks at the best side of things within the industry, I guess we'll say, trying to get access media. He'll push forward the pro developer, pro company angle on everything, even if that's not the case. But you know who doesn't? Pirate Nation. Persona Metaphor director says Atlus RPGs must attract a wider audience. Are we getting a different variation of the modern audience? I mean, we all know what they're getting at when they say these things. And this is the post on Reddit. Hashino says that Atlus RPGs must attract a wider audience. I'm not going to lie. When I see stuff like this, I get kind of worried. Nearly every company that has uttered these words has made a game that was not as interesting as its previous games. With Square, you have Final Fantasy 16, and Sony, you have basically all of their live service games and some of their other first-party games. EA, Capcom, with Monster Hunter Worlds or Wilds, Ubisoft have all chased a wider appeal, and it is backfired in some sort of way. I'm sure everyone has heard the saying that a game made for everyone is a game made for no one. If I had to put my finger on it, Hashino probably saw the success of other games and is wondering, how do we get that? But the truth is that you're better off carving out your own audience. It's the same thing, by the way, ironically, when people get like jealous of, like if you're a content creator and you get jealous of a bigger YouTube channel, don't just copy what that other YouTube channel does. Carve out your own niche. Be your own person. I feel like so many people fall into we just need to do what that other person's doing so that I'm popular too. Or if you're a corporation, we see the games that are successful out there. We need to do exactly what they're doing. Sony, for example, making Concord. A team-based action squad shooter. Yeah, people play those. They're super popular. We got Overwatch 2 out there. Why not do Concord? Sure, Overwatch 2 is free, but we're different and better for reasons. Like they just want to copy what someone else is already doing. Why can't you be original and do something unique to you? Think of FromSoft. They became one of the biggest names in the industry by being themselves. I'm old enough to remember how FromSoft was before the Souls series, and barely anyone knew who they were. You mentioned Armored Core, and people would stare at you like deer in the headlights. I can understand the need for new players, but I hope that doesn't come at the cost of Atlus's identity. And this was the story that I saw on it. It's coming to a turning point. This is Push Square. Persona Metaphor director says Atlus RPGs must attract a wider audience. How can we evolve our JRPG? It almost, to me, just the way they talk about it, sounds like extreme desperation. I think we all know that the game industry is in dire straits with insane amounts of layoffs, especially in the past 2 years, and more on the horizon, by the way. It's predicted that Microsoft specifically is going to be having a massive layoff in, I believe they said March of this year. From July of last year in 2025, they were expecting or rumored to have another layoff coming in 2026, early 2026, first quarter 2026. And a lot of that's affecting the gaming industry because AI is taking over everything. So now people are starting to get freaked out, like my job's on the line. I need to produce a massive hit. This is the last chance I have. Let's just cast a big net and hopefully it hits, as opposed to making something unique and special. And I think we all know how that always turns out. It feels like Atlus is at a bit of a crossroads. The long-standing Japanese developer behind hit RPG franchises like Persona has been relying on the same kind of formula for decades now, even when it attempts something new. Like 2024's excellent Metaphor Refantasio, it still falls back on the Persona-style design that rocketed the company to its current heights, which, I mean, I know a lot of people love Persona, but one of the best things about Atlus, especially growing up, was how unique their JRPGs were back in the day. And I feel like Persona is very unique too. And I haven't gotten into the later ones, but it's a very niche game and it's doing very well for them. Why would they want to expand something that's doing very well for them instead of just trying to create more niches and more unique experiences? As it turns out, though, Persona and Metaphor director Katsura Hashino is well aware of the potential dangers that come with staying strictly in your lane. In an interview with Game Informer, Hashino stresses that Atlus's future is all about finding ways to evolve our JRPG and what it looks like. And this is what I already said earlier, more so than latching on to a specific genre. We're looking at how we can evolve our JRPGs and what it looks like, coming to a turning point. Yeah, I bet you are. But that's not to say Atlus will suddenly pivot to something that's completely different for the sake of it. Hashino continues, of course, we want to retain our strengths, whether that be our narrative or elements that make us JRPGs. Read between the lines. They want to expand any way possible. So what kind of changes is Hashino actually looking for? Well, as much as hardcore fans may not want to hear it, he does mention accessibility concerns, suggesting that more could be done to bring Atlus titles to a wider audience. I got to be honest, guys. I think they just need to keep making bangers. Like Metaphor Refantasio, I have it. It's on my backlog of games to get to within the next like 4 or 5 games that I plan on playing. That is one of those games. I've heard nothing but incredible things about it. Instead of making a game for a wider audience, make games that resonate with the player base, and word of mouth will spread like wildfire. Again, I keep going back to Expedition 33. I think it's the perfect example for a no-name studio coming out of nowhere, creating a game, and everyone's just like, you have to play this game. That is the true viral marketing. If someone actually plays the game and says, stop what you're doing, play this game, you won't regret it. With these changing times, we do feel the need to update our format and create games that would be more widely playable. I got to say, in a weird way, maybe I'm being like tinfoil hat when I say this, but it kind of feels like he's not talking to us when he says this. It feels like he's talking to BlackRock and the World Economic Forum. Like he's saying all those words that they always look to hear. Like Vanguard is, it's like, yep, say the magic word, say it, come on. As alluded, these kind of comments that'll no doubt spark debate amongst Atlus faithful. But we must admit, we're now really interested in seeing what the developer comes up with next. I'm not. If anything, this situation has made me less interested in anything that Atlus is coming out with. What the hell are they talking about? You'd think that Persona 6 would be the first game they really try and tackle this new direction. But as we all know, that project could still be a long ways off from actually releasing. I think that would be a terrible idea. Taking a niche franchise that has a massive fan base and trying to expand it, you're going to lose the core audience that you've already created. You need to start a new franchise and cast a wider net. Don't destroy what's been successful for you in the name of making this for more people. Please don't do that. I don't have much faith in what Atlus is moving forward with after this. And it's really depressing. I think this is a byproduct of the AI onslaught that's coming. They feel it. They feel the pressure, the layoffs in the industry, the entire game industry, under more pressure now than arguably, outside of the gaming crash in the 80s, ever. Right now, there's more pressure than ever. Not meaning that there's going to be a crash imminent, but there may be a AAA game crash. I think indies is the future for guaranteed great quality game content. AA's is also the future. AAA's, it's highly sus. You need to really justify spending over $100 million developing a game now. Why would you do that? Why would a game cost that with all the resources that are available? And you see what these smaller studios are able to do with less money. Why would you even have a big studio at this point? You just need, I know this sounds crazy to say. You ready for it? You just need talent. That's actually the secret ingredient to making really good games. Talent, not more people, not more money. Talent. People that not just understand how to make a game, but how to make a game special, unique, and have that extra magic to it that when you're playing it, you feel like there's another layer underneath it while you're playing it, that if you dig deeper, you'll be able to find it. And I feel like over time, that feeling has been lost. But I'd like to think it's coming back with the indie games. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Atlus is concerned, I'm definitely not holding my breath on them. But we'll see. But for now, I'll leave that one right there.